Well, hello there, my friends. My name is Zamian. Thanks for tuning in and checking out my video. I'm going to do a little segment I like to call A Story and a Song. And today, I'm going to tell you the story of Ricky Raccoon. Ricky goes way back. He's been many places, saw lots of faces. I'm going to continue this story from where the Busker Blues left off. And that is, I was down in Toronto, going to college at George Brown down in the Kensington Market area there. And really having a tough go, having to busk on the street to make a little extra coin to get some food in my tummy. And yeah, it was a little hard at first. But I'd be down there on the street, you know, just doing my thing. And one day I had noticed a mother and her little boy walking by. The boy was about maybe 4 or 5 years old, and he was really interested in that noise I was making over there, but his mother would have no part of it, and she's trying to pull him away, and the boy's fighting to come over to see what I'm up to. And so it got me thinking, you know, I would be really neat if I had something like a little puppet. I wanted to kind of come up with something I could play with my foot while I was playing the guitar. So I found an old broom stick, and I carved a puppet out of it, and I still have it to this very day. This is him right here. I call him Little Zamy, my very first puppet. Now I had a board across that and a little pole that came up, and he stood on there, and I played it with my foot. That has since gone, but the puppet is still around. So here I am down in Toronto, down with my little puppet. I'm on the street, and I'm just going like that, dancing my puppet. So it worked out pretty good. And a few years later, I was in Fergus, Ontario at the market, and I used to go down there and busk as well, and I'd bring my little puppet. But by this time, I had come up with a little bit better design. What I did was I put a stronger piece on the bottom, and I had come up with this little idea. How you can see how I put the hooks in there, and I still use kind of like a little piece of dowel or stick, a broom to make these parts, and then you tap it with your foot the way he dances, just like that. And then I've made several different types over the years. This one here is Petra. It's a little bit bigger. And this one here is another Little Zamy. And this was actually made after my first costume, which I'm going to talk to you about in just a minute. First of all, we're going to go back to the Fergus Market. So there I am, you know, doing my rhythmic sound, and this lady comes up. She says, you know, my son, he comes here every week and he just likes to see you. He says, she asked me, would you come and play his birthday party? And I thought about it. I said, well, sure, I would love to do that. You know, she paid me, so away I went. But I had the idea thinking, I said, you know, I should learn a couple other things for my show. So I got into making balloon animals. You know, you blow them up like that, you twist them. I had a guy in Fergus kind of get me started and help me out with that. And then I started adding some magic to my show. I'd do a few simple magic tricks, and then I'd buy a bit more, and I'd add a few more, and it started getting a whole magic show put together. And then I thought, you know, I would really like is a costume. And I'll never forget my first show down at the Fergus Teddy Bear Caper. And I had made this costume out of an old lampshade I had made and put some material on it. And I took some old sheets. And this is actual costume right here. Now this is me, if you can see that, busking. That's at the St. Jacob's Market, or after I graduated from the Fergus Market, I started playing there. And I did pretty good there. I'd make about $25 an hour playing at the St. Jacob's Market. And I handed out business cards and stuff like that. And yeah, and got a lot of business that way. The birthday parties and some company picnics and Christmas parties I started doing. But you know what? Children started calling me Bananas and Pajamas. Some of the children. I didn't like that very much. I said, well, I'm not. I'm Little Zamy. So I decided to make a new costume. And I came up with this guy. Now, my daughter Cassie at the time really loved dogs. And so I came up with this big red dog, and I called myself Puppy Dog. Can you see that? And there's my daughter Cassie actually with me. We're doing a show at the Better Beef there. We traveled all over Southern Ontario doing all kinds of company picnics and Christmas parties and festivals. We played the Aurora Fringe Festival many years. Here's one here we're playing at the Bluegrass Festival down in Burlington, Ontario. And we did that for about 10 years. And then, but the problem with this costume, as you can see, is some of the kids called me Clifford. Yeah, Clifford the big red dog. And I said, I'm not Clifford, I'm Puppy Dog. So I decided to go with another costume. I said, I gotta try something out. What am I gonna do? And then I got thinking about it. You know, when I was a child, I was fascinated with raccoons. I just loved raccoons. I wanted to be a raccoon. I wanted to get a pet raccoon. So, what a perfect choice, but Ricky Raccoon. And that's where Ricky Raccoon, and there's my first raccoon costume. And his nose is actually a bicycle horn. And the kids used to love to come and honk, honk, and squeeze Ricky's nose. And up there is a puppet up in the hat. His name was Nicky Gimbel. And yeah, they worked together. We put out a CD at that time as well. And Nicky Gimbel was on there. There's my first CD I put out. And you could hear things like Nicky and Ricky talking. Hey there, Nicky! What side of the chicken has the most feathers?
Well, I don't know, Ricky. What side of the chicken has the most feathers?
The outside! Anyway, and yeah, so that costume eventually wore out. I had to make another one. Here's a picture of my second Ricky Raccoon costume. There I'm doing a show with Elvis. We're opening up a business there. Like I said, I've done pretty well everything. All kinds of different shows all over the place. I opened up schools. I played at weddings. And here's a show here. This is with the Ricky Raccoon at the Oktoberfest in Kitchener, Ontario. And playing with me there is my good friend, the late Jim Perry. Yeah, I miss good old Jim. He was my drummer for many years and traveled around. We did lots of shows all across Southern Ontario. And yeah, and he's gone now. But good news is Ricky Raccoon's back. I'm back with a third Ricky Raccoon costume. And we're going to do a song for you right now. Just give me one sec. Well, I'm back! Hi, boys and squirrels! So good to be here. I'm glad you're here too. Now we're going to play a song, and I'd like you to play it along. You could grab your tambourine, or maybe some shakers, or some spoons, and play along with Ricky. Are you ready? Here we go! Oh, call me Ricky Raccoon. Oh, call me Ricky Raccoon. I'm here with all my friends, having fun and singing a tune. We're cute, stay back, go, come on, join the show. You can dance and laugh and join right in, this is where the fun begins. You can sing a song to the moon, sing a song with Ricky Raccoon. Ricky Raccoon. Oh, call me Ricky, Ricky Raccoon. But I'll be with all my friends, having fun and singing a tune. Come on! Woo-hoo! I'm here with all my friends, having fun and singing a tune. Woo-hoo! And there we go, folks. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time on A Story and a Song. Ricky Raccoon out!